Some voices don't just sing, they carry heaven with them. Some songs don't simply fill a room. They lift hearts, heal wounds, and lead souls home. And some lives are so deeply rooted in purpose that even in silence, their legacy keeps praising. This is the story of Ron Kenoly, a worship leader whose music reshaped modern praise, a minister whose calling echoed long before his first breath, and a man whose life became a living altar of devotion. A destiny spoken before birth. Ron Kenoly was born on December 6, 1944 in Coffeyville, Kansas, but his story didn't begin in a hospital room. It began in prayer. While pregnant with him, his mother, Edith Kenoly, would gently rub her stomach and whisper a single request to God. "Lord, let this one praise you." That prayer would become prophecy. Raised in a modest Midwestern town, Ron grew up surrounded by faith, family, and the early stirrings of music. Even as a child, something inside him awakened the moment he saw Sammy Davis Jr. and Nat King Cole perform. Watching two black men command a national stage didn't just inspire him, it defined him. In that moment, young Ron didn't just see entertainers. He saw possibility. He saw destiny. And he knew, with childlike certainty, this is what I was born to do. From Kansas to Hollywood dreams. After finishing high school, Ron left Coffeyville behind and headed west to Hollywood, California, chasing the sound that stirred his soul. Like many dreamers, his path wasn't straight, but it was purposeful. Between 1965 and 1968, Ron served in the United States Air Force, a chapter that quietly shaped his discipline, humility, and perseverance. While in uniform, he joined the Mellow Fellows, a top 40 cover band that toured military bases, bringing music to soldiers far from home. Yet life intervened. Family responsibilities pulled him away from the group, forcing him to make painful decisions that delayed, but never denied, his calling. After military service, Ron returned to Los Angeles determined to keep going. The secular stage before the sacred calling. In the early years, Ron's voice found its way into the secular music world. He recorded demo tracks for legendary songwriter Jimmy Webb, including early versions of Up, Up, and Away. His first single, The Glory of Your Love, Mine Eyes Have Seen, marked a quiet but hopeful beginning. Signing with A&M Records, executives gave him the stage name Ron Keith, and he explored R&B and soul music, releasing tracks like I Betcha I'll Get Ya and Soul Vaccination. Later, alongside Candy Ray, Ron became one of the first artists signed to George Semper's Inner City label. Their single Lovely Weekend sold nearly 200,000 copies, an undeniable commercial success. But despite the applause, something was missing. The stages were bright. The records were selling. Yet his spirit felt restless. Ron Kenoly realized he was chasing success, where he was called to serve. For years of waiting and a lifetime of purpose. Walking away from secular music wasn't easy. For 4 long years, Ron searched for a gospel record deal. Doors closed. Calls went unanswered. Doubt whispered loudly, but faith spoke louder. In 1983, his perseverance bore fruit with the release of his first Christian album, You Ought to Listen to This. It wasn't flashy, but it was authentic. And authenticity would become his signature. Soon, Ron began leading worship for respected pastors like Jack Hayford and Lester Sumrall, his name quietly circulating among ministry circles. That faithful consistency caught the attention of evangelist Mario Murillo, who introduced Ron to Pastor Dick Bernal, founder of Jubilee Christian Center in San Jose. That meeting changed everything. The sound that changed worship forever. In 1985, Ron Kenoly became the full-time worship leader at Jubilee Christian Center. Worship wasn't a set list to him, it was a sacred encounter. By 1987, he was ordained and installed as music pastor, overseeing the church's entire music ministry. His influence grew beyond the sanctuary, shaping worship culture across the nation. Then came 1992. Ron released Lift 'Em Up, and the world listened. The album became the fastest-selling worship album of its time, igniting a global movement of praise. Churches across denominations lifted their voices with new freedom, passion, and joy. Songs weren't just sung, they were experienced. His follow-up album, Welcome Home, produced by Tom Brooks, soared to the top of Billboard's contemporary worship charts and earned a Dove Award in 1997. Ron Kenoly wasn't chasing trends. He was leading hearts. A scholar of sound and spirit. Ron's ministry was deeply rooted in knowledge, as much as passion. He earned a music degree from Alameda College, a Master of Divinity, and later a doctorate in Ministry of Sacred Music. In 1993, Jubilee Christian Center named him Ambassador of Music, sending him across the country to mentor churches and help build worship ministries grounded in excellence and reverence. By 1999, Ron relocated to Central Florida, continuing to travel, teach, sing, write, and inspire until his final days. He also authored several books, including collaborations with Pastor Dick Bernal, extending his ministry beyond music. Love, family, and a life well lived. Ron's personal life reflected the same devotion he brought to the stage. He married his first wife, Tavita, during his military years, and together they raised 3 sons, Samuel, Ronald, and Tony, over a marriage that lasted more than 4 decades. In later years, Ron found love again, marrying Diana, a United Nations ambassador, in 2014. They remained together until his passing. Few know that Ron Kenoly was also the cousin of acclaimed actor Don Cheadle, a reminder that talent and calling ran deep in the family. Net worth and true riches. At the time of his passing, Ron Kenoly's estimated net worth stood at $5 million. But his greatest wealth was never financial. It was found in raised hands, in tear-filled altars, in songs sung across generations. A gentle farewell. On February 3, 2026, Ron Kenoly passed away at the age of 81. The news was shared by his longtime music director, Bruno Miranda, through social media. No cause of death was announced, and somehow that feels fitting. Because Ron Kenoly didn't leave with noise. He left with peace. Legacy that still praises. Ron Kenoly's voice may have gone quiet, but his worship never will. Every time a congregation sings, "Lift Him Up," every time a worship leader dares to lead with authenticity. Every time someone remembers that praise is both a song and a surrender. Ron Kenoly's legacy lives on. A life prayed for before birth. A voice surrendered to heaven. And a calling fulfilled completely.